She told me this morning that CSN is offering a program for finishing or like getting like what's it called? It's like doing like a semester or two of 11 to 12 for 12 college credits.
Ooh.
Free.
Ooh.
Yeah. And, I'm gonna go to their meetings like in November.
You should do that. You should totally do
But the
that.
one problem I'm gonna have with that is, will I be able to continue going here, like doing stuff here, or will I be just stuck there? Because it'll be good, yes, in the long run, but I also want to learn from you and do stuff here, right?
Wait, so it would be a high school for 11th and 12th, basically,
Yeah, that program at their.
at CSN? Do you know that I
They
did
have
that?
like a CSN high school. It's called CSN HS.
This is exactly what I did for my 11th and 12th. I did high school at the Moorpark College from 11th and 12th grade.
You did more high school, or you did?
It was called high school at the Moorpark College. So it was the same program idea. You take high school classes, and then you have college classes, like 1 or 2 or 3 outside of that. I think it's the way to go. You'll be doing college classes at 16 years old.
Still want to. I mean, if it works out, then definitely go. And I do want to get those credits.
Yeah.
And that experience.
Okay, guys, so we have Unreal Engine open. We're going to start with the lesson. So this lesson can be done in any project. I have the live stream up, so go ahead and look that up. See my code. Look at the live stream. Any template will do. Any template will do. I'll happen to be using, I'm going to use a top-down template today, just to do something different. And I'm going to create. Okay, so we have the live stream up. What I'm going to show you how to do today is how to do a timer. So a lot of games, notice people want something like where the time goes up or down. You can see that on the screen. Or do a little bit of that, a little bit of widget stuff, and that kind of basic. What I want you to do is open up your character blueprint for your project. In this case, it's going to be my blueprint here called, what's it called? Top down character. So edit blueprint, open blueprint editor. For you, it might be third person character or 2D side scroller or whatever. Well, once you're on the blueprint code, I want you to find the event tick. So you can do that by right clicking and typing in event tick. Does somebody tell me what event tick is? So can you take down the Halo kazooing? That can happen in the next lesson. We're not quite there yet. Halo kazooie is next class.
No, it's Halo.
All right, let's stay on track. Somebody tell me what event tick does. Somebody tell me what event tick does.
Or whatever the character uses.
So guys, we're in lesson time. I take talking down. Okay, what does event tick do? Somebody tell the class.
Yeah.
Does nobody know what event tick does?
Yeah, it has something to do with frame.
Okay.
Per second. Like it's like an event.
So let's begin play.
It's every frame is one event.
Yeah, that's a good way of thinking of it. Okay,
Something
cool.
like that.
All right.
If I can, I'm gonna
So,
find the exact.
Event tick is as follows. Event tick.
Where-
Hey guys back there, there's too much talking. We're in the middle of the
Yeah.
lesson, please. Yeah.
An event is called every frame.
Okay, cool. So you looked up event tick. Nice.
Yeah.
So event tick, guys, is an event that fires constantly.
Yeah.
Fires constantly, like hundreds of times a second. Boom, 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 just constantly bombarding. So it's a really good place to code regular happening things. In this case, we can use it to code a number going up over time, a timer, right? So if you right-click, you look up event tick, what's going to happen is if you're using a certain template that already uses event tick, like I'm using this top-down, have to use event tick, and you can't get more than one event tick. It's only one per blueprint. So you might be like, oh no, what do I do? There's only one event tick and it's already being used up. There's a node for this sort of thing called a sequence. It's okay. So let's first move event tick off to the side if there's already code on it, and then look up the sequence node. Sequence node is great. It's real simple. Just gives you more branches for your code. Okay, that's all it does. Same if you ever looked up like begin play. You're like, but it's already being used by something. Just use a sequence node. Okay. All right. What I want you to look up next after our event tick is you're gonna have a delay node. Look up delay. What does delay do? Somebody tell us. Huh? Delay?
It's literally what it says. It
Yeah,
like
it
stops something for a certain amount of time, and then it starts something back up.
That's right, yeah. That's a great way of defining it. So delay is going to make us wait a certain amount of seconds before the code after is allowed to happen. And since this is event on event tick, so it's regularly firing, it's going to make it so that our code doesn't constantly add up this number that we're going to call time. Instead, it's going to only do it every so often. In this case, we put in duration, the number of seconds. By default, it's at 0.2, which means that it is at 0.2 seconds, really fast. I want you to change duration to 1. On your delay, change duration to 1. Okay, now we need some sort of time to go up. What we're going to do is make a variable. A variable is a way of storing information. That's all it is. In this case, I'm going to store, hey, what time is it? How much time has passed? So to create a variable, I go where? Anybody know? How to create a variable?
My blueprint on the left.
Yeah, on the left side, you'll see a section called variables with a little plus sign. Where it says variables, click the thing, the little plus icon. When you hover over it, it becomes plus variable. Click that and name it time or seconds passed. I'm going to name mine seconds passed. And we need to change the type of variable, right? What type of variable should we change it to? We're changing variable type in the details panel on the right. What type of variable should it be?
Floater.
Float or integer. Yeah, float or integer, because those are both the number types, right? I'm going to say let's do integers. We're just counting seconds. 1 second, 2 second, 3 second. So change the variable type to integer. Okay. Next up, I named mine seconds passed. Now drag them to the graph and do a set time or set seconds passed. So drag the variable on your graph and choose set seconds passed using set. And connect that into your delay. Now I'm going to take the opportunity to constantly set whatever the seconds passed is supposed to be. So we want to set it to however many seconds have passed. What we can do with that is drag your variable onto your graph again, this time to do a get. drag off of the get, the seconds pass we just did, and type in plus. You can either type in the symbol for plus or the word plus. And you get this integer plus integer node, so you can add something to it. We choose this node so we can add 1 to it. So seconds pass plus 1. And then you're going to plug in the result of that addition, so that rightmost circle on that plus node, into the front of the set. It should look like that. Well, you can check it out on the live stream. What this is doing is saying, hey, set this variable to whatever it was before plus 1. Which means that every time this code is executed, it's going to add 1 to it. So if it was at 0 before, like when the game starts, it's going to become 1. And then if it was at 1 before, it's going to become 2. If it was 2 before, it's going to become 3. If it was at 155,461 before, it's going to become 155,462 next time this code is executed. Okay? It's constantly adding 1 to itself.
Yeah, that's just because I have a bunch of
Who's used print string before? Have you guys used print string before? Oh, so really, this is a very helpful node. I use it all the time to like make sure my code is working. Print string is a code thing that will put a little piece of text, write a couple words or whatever you want to write into it on the left side of your screen when you hit play and throughout the game. So it's a good way of testing to make sure your code's working. It's just little programmer notes for you to see. So everybody now look up print string. In this case, what do we want to print? Let's print to the screen our seconds pass variable. So drag seconds passed onto the graph, do a get, and plug that into the in string of the print string. The thing that says in string. If you do it like that, hit play, and look on the left side, top left of the game as you play it. You should see it printing that number.
Or would it be played?
We got connected.
Okay, whatever.
You play it. All right, we're gonna move on. I'll move on with talking down to 0. I want everyone to go to the front of Unreal, click Add New. We're gonna make a widget. Remember widgets? Widgets are menus, HUDs, overlays. Okay, you see them in every game, from health bars to stamina bars to menus, pause menus, main menus, save menus, setting menus, depth screens, load game, load level. These are all widgets. So to add something new, to add a new widget, here we are on the front of Unreal. How do we add something new? Be it a blueprint, level, what? Where do we go to add something new? It's easier. Yeah, content browser. You're right. Content browser. Where in the content browser? Could it be the Add New button? Yeah. It's the big green Add New button. Click on that and go to User Interface. That's that bottom panel, bottom category. User Interface Widget Blueprints. And name it, player HUD or whatever, or time count. We're going to make a widget that displays our timer to our player in the form of a menu. Double click on it. And you should now be in the widget editing menu. It looks like my screen here. In this widget menu, you can drag and drop plenty of things onto your screen, from buttons, images, all this sort of stuff. In our case, though, I want you to drag out a text. It's called text onto your screen. Text. Not text box, but text. Text box is something different. That's for like your player entering in text. So if your player can name his character or name his save game, right? When he goes to save, you'd be using a text box. We're just using a text. Text is just words to display on the screen. When you drag it out onto here, you have a details panel for it. You can change the color, you can change the font size, all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna change my color a little bit, maybe blue. And you can change what it says by typing into the setting called text. In this case, let's name it, we'll put seconds passed. Seconds passed. Now what I want you to do next is dragging another text onto your widget and put it next to seconds passed. And this second piece of text will actually be what we constantly set to whatever that number called seconds passed happens to be. So if it's at 1, it'll say 1. When it gets to 2, 3, 4, it constantly count up. It'll constantly be updated as the game goes along. Yeah, so you're bringing a second text. And for this one, it doesn't really matter what we type into text because it's just going to be updated with whatever that variable is. Now, how do we make it so the widget knows to display that variable's number, not just what we type into it, and to do that over time? Well, the process in widgets like this is called binding. Bind what is on screen to something that's happening in game. And whatever you want to bind will show up in the details panel here. So we want to bind the text setting of this text block. Look in the details panel where it says text. On the far right, on that row, right, it says text. There's a bind button. It says bind. With your text block selected in the details panel, next to the text, I want you to click bind. Bind, create binding. Bind, create binding right next to the text. What's going to happen when you hit create binding is it creates a little graph, okay, a little code graph for you to do all the stuff you need to do to make sure that that widget displays what it's supposed to display in game. Right next to the text. So if you look in the details panel, with that text thing selected, in the details panel on the right, the thing you want to bind in this case is its text. So look where it says text, you could like type in what the words are displayed. So bind, create binding. Okay. So you're on this binding graph. What do we need to bind? What do we need to get sent into that text?
The integer?
Yeah, the integer of time, the integer that we named seconds past or time, whatever. Yeah, we need to get that. Now, where is that variable? Where is the variable living? Where does it exist on? Yeah, it exists on whatever character we use. I happen to use a top-down character. You use a third-person character. So we first need to get the blueprint where that variable lives so we can access the variable.
I mean, I use it before.
So it's on the player character, so right-click, type in get player character. Now drag off the player character And now we want to look up the specific blueprint that that player character happens to be. Okay? So, Grant, what was your blueprint for your character? What's the blueprint called? You said it a second ago. Yeah, we're passing. Yours would be 2D side-scroller character. Yours would be third-person character. Mine happens to be top-down character. So whatever your character's blueprint happens to be called, look up that now and find the cast to that one. So I'm going to do cast to, for me, to be cast a top-down character. And make sure you plug in all the wires too, so that the front of this get text goes right into the front of the cast and all that. All right, on this cast, we have the opportunity now, where it says add as, whatever the name of your blueprint is, character. Drag off of that on the cast, the blue circle thing. That gives you access to everything that lives on that blueprint, including the variable we made called timer, seconds passed, whatever. So I'm going to drag off that. I'm going to type in seconds passed. Get seconds passed. And then I'm going to plug that variable right into the thing that says return value. And I'll make this little node that converts it to a text type. And then just make sure all your white wires are connected. Should look like my screen. And now that variable will display whatever. The text block will display whatever that variable happens to be. Yeah. Right click. Don't try it off. Right click. One of the blueprints, you do what template you did. You do third person template.
What's that one in the middle? What's that one in the middle between the pinks?
That is converted to text. Oh, cool, awesome. Now you're going to cast, not convert. Drag off this, and then drag off there. Get their character. Pass to the third person character. Or fourth and third person. That's something I need to put on. It's just plus. I'm gonna check more. Plus. Yeah.
I ran into a study on I don't know why, but whenever it says that then is not character.
Declare pawn instead. Okay, so we're going to move on. If you're not quite there yet, that's okay. That's what the live stream is for. I want to show you how to add this widget to the screen. Okay, so there's many widgets in the game. Like I said before, pause menus, save menus, death screens, main menus, HUDs, health, level up screens, all this stuff. For us, for Unreal, you need to know what you want to display at what time. It's not going to just put all the widgets in the project, all at the same time on your screen. So we need to tell Unreal to add this to the player's viewports. So we're going to do that now. So So everybody go back to the character blueprints that we started with. We're going to code it on there. We're going to add this widget to the player's viewport so that the player can see it. What?
What are you gonna do about that?
Branch? What about branch?
Didn't you use something that's called branch?
No, I didn't use branch today. No. All right, guys, so go to your character blueprint. Everybody look up the begin play node. What does begin play node do? Somebody tell me, what does begin play do? We're on a character blueprint again, whoever it may be, third person, 2D, flying pawn, top-down character, whatever. Okay, we're on there, and you're going to look up begin play. What does begin play do again? Begin play is an event that fires one time. When? Right when the game starts. Exactly, so it's a really good place for adding things like widgets and stuff like that that you want to have as soon as the game is there. Okay, in this case, I have begin play, but oh no, there's all this code. That's okay. I'm going to move this begin play off to the side. I'm going to pull up a sequence node. Yeah. All right. To get a widget to display on the screen, there's two nodes we need. Two nodes only. The first one is called create widget. Dragging off begin play, I want you to look up create widget. On the create widget node, it says class, select class. That means which widget are we doing? Which widget are we adding? Click select class and choose the widget you made. Mine's called player HUD. Yours might be called something else, whatever you named it. But select the widget that you are actually creating. All right. Next up, I want you to drag off return value of that create widget and type in add to viewport. Choose add to viewport. You don't have to drag off return value, but you drag off the normal sideways triangle. But if, just make sure that add to viewport where it says target, make sure return value is plugged into there. Because add to viewport's asking, hey, what are we adding to the viewport? In this case, we're adding a widget. All right, if you've done that, hit play and see if it all worked. In my case, my game, I've got a text that says seconds pass, and I've got this other number that's going up and up every second, once per second.